Good morning, gang. Kim here from Swords and Stones. Just thought I would pop another video on for y'all to update you on my collection of JPcoovert zines. Got a few sitting here because I haven't done one in a little while. A couple months ago, we started with the Frozen Ascent. So this is obviously an adventure booklet, and it deals with layers in a frozen tundra type of an area. Yonderdale. Okay. So again, typical JPcoovert fashion. We have nice, easily read print, easily to read, I should say. We have all the adventure breakdowns. We got a nice, cool map. We have the random encounters, and yeah, a list of critters. Fairsire's Horde. We got the main characters, the BB Big Bad. We got areas on the lake. We even got some lore back here. Frozen King's Ritual. We have the Cosmic Shore, which is gets you out into the cosmos, apparently. And of course, we have our list of monsters for the adventure and some magic items. So, yeah, another cool themed adventure from JP, and he's got listed on the back that it's basically designed for use with Shadow Dark, but honestly, you can use it with whatever you want, as we always do. All right, moving along. Drawing Heroes. Okay, another one of JP's instructional zines on how to create your own heroes, whether they be PCs or NPCs. Gives you a guide on how the guide works, and then goes through some basic drawing instructions. So for those that are not quote-unquote artists, or like me, just like to doodle, then these are helpful because it breaks it down into the simplest steps, and you can create some pretty cool characters and critters, as JP always does with his zines. Very, very thorough, very easily understood, and gives you lots of options to go through, and instruction and coaching on how to get her done. So awesome. Another great zine. Again, that was a few months ago. The next one we have in line is a little adventure that JP came up with an idea to do a wordless dungeon. So basically it's a dungeon setup where he has some of the encounters and critters, but none of the story. So you just kind of fill in the blanks, which is very cool. Stuff that we kind of do anyways on our own. You pull a dungeon map off of anywhere, drive through or what have you online, and you fill it in. With myself especially, I have my own little key that I use to roll dice and randomly fill in dungeons, or unless I come up with a theme. So the wordless dungeon, the way through is yours to discover. Use keys to unlock. Find these cool objects and hearts for life, I'm assuming, life points possibly, and then pass to connect from page to page, and you kind of start down here. So it leads you right through it. You start there, and it wanders you into this next dungeon map, which is very cool. As you can see, he's got critters set up, he's got objects set up. This one looks like it's somebody's latrine that you may or may not want to wander into. So a little bit of spoilers for the maps, but yeah, and then you move on. You got a door down here with an object, and you move on, and here's the next section. And again, whole bunch of looks like wizards and cultists possibly. There's a beholder and a giant tentacle beast coming up through the ground, and some scrolls. So lots of cool things to adventure and come up with your own story to fill in the blanks. Next, you're moving on to kind of a looks like more of a tech or mechanical, where they're building constructs possibly, run by octopi by the looks of it. So that's interesting. And then you got a kind of a slime beast or an oil slick kind of a critter down at the bottom there. Moving on to the next one, you're out into, looks like a death swamp or a dead swamp. You're full of skeletons, some flaming haired critters that look like they're chewing on skeleton bones, maybe a lich, some monsters running through there, so that's kind of cool. Next one up, you run into possibly your characters shrink down, or these are gigantic, what have you. You run out into the forest and you run into, looks like a skateboard park that's run by rats. Looks like they got a little bit of an ant infestation, possibly some birds giving them a little bit of trouble. So they may hire you to clear that up so they can skate and not have any problems. Moving off now, we're off into the heavens. We're off into the clouds. And it looks like here we've got the old whack-a-mole set up, possibly. Just kidding, that could be anything, really. And you're dealing with some metaphysical stuff up in the clouds, trying to figure out what's going on there. Next up, we hit down into a 3-bit or 2-bit encounter where it's very arcadish, very Atari looking. You wander your way through here, deal with some skeletons, some bats, some ghosts, and possibly some hooded wizards, and there's some potions and some treasures and stuff like that. Then you move on to the very last section, and it's a cavernous area. And you have this big, handsome critter down in the corner here to deal with eventually. And you kind of wander through, find stuff, open trunks, deal with whatever that's supposed to be. Sit down and have a meal in front of your friends, and as long as the chairs don't get up and walk away. Okay, cool. So that is the wordless dungeon where you fill in the blanks yourself. Moving on. Grey Cliff. It's another adventure module where JP has filled in tons of information for you to absorb, talking about the Grey Cliff area, who the locals are, what's going on as far as the lore, some of the shops. You have a nice big critter here that I'm assuming is a guardian or a major monster dragon that tends to give trouble. You got some of the locals. You got foggers and luggers, diggers. So yeah, some very cool stuff. You have some NPCs that you can deal with. You have local wildlife. There's 5 districts, so you can set up possibly some factions going on there. The cliff itself, what the properties are and how it's looked after. And then you've got the fog. So what I didn't mention at the beginning here is that part of this adventure, part of the cliff is encased in an eternal fog down below here. So this is where you deal with that information in the lore with regards to what's going on with the fog. So I had to adjust the camera there. And the locals and how they deal with it and who's looking after things. Then you have the boroughs, which are neighborhoods, I'm assuming, within the area. Some hooks, some rumors, random encounters, and the Squalavarius lair, which Squalavarius, I believe, was that the giant critter up at the front here? Let's have a look. Yes, the Squalavarius. So there you get, at the back of the book, you get to read about its lair and what you might possibly run into to deal with it. So another awesome adventure zine by the dude himself, JP. Okay, getting into some a little more recent. This was just a few weeks ago. Big Weirdos. Again, it's another book of options, book of things that you can, kind of like tools, but these are NPCs that you can throw into your games or game. Gives you a little bit of background on each, describes them, what they can, what they cannot do, maybe some special abilities, what their, maybe a little bit of a background, and what their point being is. So they're very cool, some very cool critters, and typical JPcoovert artwork, which is really fun, just plain fun. I just love it. But yeah, quite a few NPCs and monsters in here that you can add to your adventures and any one of JP's adventures that you're playing at the moment. Big Weirdos. So that's some oversized critters and NPCs that you can throw into your games and have some fun with. Next up, we got Starboard. It's a line of Star Wars inspired game scenes that JP's been working on for quite some time by the looks of it. This is the first hard copy that I've gotten. Haven't gone through and really read through any of the Starboard adventures just yet. But there is so much work put into this, so much detail, the maps, the NPCs, the creatures, the worlds themselves, and the play style. It's pretty incredible if you're into the Star Wars theme kind of games, and this is obviously Starborg, so he's borrowing some of the thematic side of it from Morkborg. But yeah, I'll get into that a little bit of detail reading one of these days and see if it's something that I want to actually run. And then our latest from JP, a collection of curiosities. So this is a collection of random tables that you can use to put in your game to roll on. Like you can pick the very first table and see which one of the random tables you're going to use. So you've got like inspirational tables, heroes, villains, unusual artifacts, castle morph, and the onyx isle. So that's pretty cool. So then you can go into each of these tables and you can roll as to what is the wizard searching for? What are the goblins destroying? Over here you have if it's raining, what is it raining? Poison tip daggers, spiders, and why? And because of this reasons here. And then say you run into some sort of a weird plant or monster and inflicts you with something. So what did it inflict you with? It caused something to grow on your body. What are you growing? Well, you can grow a head, a neck, a back, or a muscular limb, a giant crustacean. So pretty nifty things there. Up here you got what's growing in that cave. You have what's at the bottom of that hole. What's inside that strange spell book? What's inside the slime? What's in the unlocked chest? Who was that skeleton? If you're interested, here's some heroes and villains. So again, a nice selection of JP's cool artwork. Give you some inspiration to throw these critters and characters into your games. Some unusual artifacts, and then a random table down below as to what they may or may not do. Here's a castle. So he throws in a full-on castle map. Over here it has a list of all the rooms. It doesn't tell you which room is which. It just says this is section covers these rooms. So you decide where the rooms go, and then you can decide random encounters for those rooms and for the castle as a whole. And on the very back, we have a nice, cool JP map, the Onyx Isle. So a location of strange island completely shrouded by a mysterious mist. Dun, dun, dun. And then you got lots of locations within the island that you can use as separate short adventures or an overall campaign as to how you want to deal with that. So again, awesome stuff from JP. I look forward every couple months to getting these from him because it takes about 2 months, 2.5 sometimes to get them up here from the States. But these are my favorite reads when they do come in the mail. So cool. Hope that inspires some to go to JP's site and sign up for his Patreon and subscribe to his YouTube channel, because you get some of this really, really cool stuff in the mail. He does have a box set out now, Dragontown, which I have yet to have a look at, but I do have the Dragontown Adventures from previous downloads, so I kind of see how that one's going. But the box set looks fantastic. There's a lot of cool stuff in there, and a hard copy version of the book with all of the individual zines put in there with all the maps and stuff. Very awesome. Okay, cool. That's it for today. Have a great day, gang. We'll talk at you later. Ciao for now. Keep them rolling. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, or just say hi. Ciao.